Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. Now today's video was not planned. I just had a little package of some supplies come through and I opened it and I thought, you know, why not? Let's just do a little video based on what I've just received. And I'm sure many of you over the Christmas period have been either received art supplies as presents or indeed spend a bit of Christmas money on buying a few supplies that you wanted. Now, I am no different, and when I see something and I really want it, if I can afford it, I'll buy it. But I've got a bit of an obsession like that, I'm afraid, but that's the way it is. Now, a couple of things I want to show you, and also something I've tried to make. So without further ado, let's go eyes down and let's see what's been happening. Okay, ready? There we go. Now, this is what this video is all about. And it's not so much this, but what's inside here that's important. And Rosemary and Company need no introduction to probably 95% of you around the world. They are, or she is, along with her daughter Simi, well respected for creating handmade brushes, and they are an exceptional quality. And indeed, if you go onto her site and you wish to buy any, then if you would kindly use my affiliate link, which is Paul Apps in unbroken capitals, I will get a little thank you from Rosemary for introducing people or recommending the products. But as I say, I've been associated with Rosemary's products for 20-25 years, maybe even more. I've never actually added up how many years we've been doing business together, and that's enough of all of that. I'm just itching to get in here. Of course, it wouldn't be Rosemary without a few chockies, and I believe that there's a few more. I've actually eaten one. I shouldn't have done, but I have. But Rosemary, Simi, thank you very, very much for that. That's jolly kind of you. All right, enough of the sales pitch. I still want to get in here. So what did I buy? Well, I did buy a couple of brushes, that's for sure. And here they are. They are just a few simple synthetics from a couple of the collections that Rosemary runs or creates. And I wanted some daggers, and I wanted just some flat synthetic brushes for gouache and also for casein. So these will get split between the two genres, and I wanted some that I could actually just cut and trim down the handles to fit in a very, very small pen case, so that when I'm out and about I can actually work with these brushes without having the longer handles. Now these are still classified short handle, but I needed them to be a little shorter, so I had to do a little surgery. Sorry, Rosemary, but they now fit into one of these cheaper pen cases, but that's great for me. I do believe Mr. Gurney on his channel has actually chopped down a few of his brushes for a very similar purpose, so I'm in good company. So there you go, those are some of the brushes that I bought. So what else is in here? Well, it's not brushes, that's for sure. Let me just get them out and show you. There we are. I have been buying into the idea of a Art Toolkit portfolio palette. Now, I've been looking at these for some time. I've been looking at what people have been talking about them and how they feel and how they're getting on with them, how they're using them, whether they're using them for casein or for gouache or just watercolor. And I decided after a lot of thought that I would buy myself not one but two. Now the idea of this was I was going to do one in casein and one in gouache. I have a very good watercolor palette already that fits the bill, so I didn't feel the need to spend out on a third one. And arguably I probably didn't even need two of these, because I've sort of been researching a little bit more about the casein, and I'm not sure how this will dry up in a pan, whether it's going to be reusable. I think that it won't be. So it may be that I do end up doing a watercolor one and a gouache one, but I think what I'm going to do is just put one of these on a shelf out of the way for a little while and just concentrate on making my gouache version. The reason I bought more of these is because I didn't really want to fuss around with these little ones. So these will be taken out. There are sort of several sizes of these little palettes, and I think they're really little treats. They're all magnetically sat in the box, but I felt that if I take these ones out, this is what I'm going to do. and I'll keep them very, very safe. And again, I'm not sure, do I need all of these? Now that is going to be useful, I'm sure. So I'm going to take this one out like that. Maybe move this, if it will come up, I'm sure it will. Move that to there. So I've got two main mixing areas, and then I'll slide these along like so. I think this gives you the instruction to use some vegetable oil on the magnetic plate, which is not a bad shout, so I shall probably get to do that. But I think I'm just going to do that. Move these to one side. Keep them all for a rainy day. Why not? I did buy enough to do both of these, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get to do that right now. Okay, now these are what they call standard pans. They come in three sizes. You've got these tiny little ones, these and the double. So that's the standard, tiny, half standard, double standard, and then you've got these mixing pallets here. I'm going to have to tear into that, I think. There we go. Okay. Now these are stainless steel, these little mixing or colour holders. I think this is the way I'm going to run mine. The nice thing is that if you've got somewhere safe, you can put other colours in. And if you're going somewhere that needs a specific colour and you've got the pans empty, you can just put it in and swap one out for a day or two or a week or on a trip, wherever you are, wherever you're going, and just enjoy taking a few extra colours with you. So that's a great idea. Right, so there we are. That's the top row. Get that in. All these will come out momentarily because they do recommend that you fill these outside of the palette itself, and you can just put them and leave them to dry overnight, and then you can put them in. Have I used all of them up? Well, that's interesting because if I want to do this to the second palette, I won't have enough of these. Never mind, I can always put 4 small ones in, or indeed I can just put 2 more of these in here. There we are. So that is my little palette idea. That's what I'm thinking of mixing up. And I've got 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 different color options. If I feel that I need more, then I can swap any of these out if I wish to. I don't really want to get rid of that. I think that's quite useful as a secondary mixing pan. And I don't have to have all of these. If I just want to put in a large white, and a large something else that I use a lot of, that's good, and then I could swap this out and end up with 20 colors. So let's think about that. Let's just do that. I'm going to take one of these out too, why not? It does mean to say that my other one, if I make it usable, then it may well have a very different setup of colors. So now we have got 18, 19, 20 colors. A nice round number. I'm happy with that, and that will be good. So there we are. I have enough spare pans to play around with. Now this is my little attempt at a Gurney style easel. Don't worry about all this stuff on here. Just wanted to see if it worked. And what I've got is a laser engraver. And the one thing you can buy is black MDF. Now it is black all the way through. It's not just stained on the top. It is solid black MDF. And this is the first iteration. Although I've got to say I did make 3. Glutton for punishment. I did make 3. 2 of them in standard MDF color, and this one as a black one. This was going to be my best one. And I did make a few mistakes. I just put a piece of wood on the top there, and the glue that I used was come out a little bit and just took a little of the surface off. It will not come off without an awful lot of work, so I'm prepared to leave it there. But it works, and I've got the little system on the back. Now many people use a T-nut on the back here, so I've just added some extra strength to this, and I put one of these. Now these are a prepared base that you can just double side tape and then screw them into this, so nothing is badly affected. I think I bought these in the past from a company called Bromley Art in the UK who supply them. I've not seen them anywhere else, but I have had several of them and they are just bomb proof. They do the job and you haven't got to fuss about with T-nuts. I know that's lighter, but they do run the risk of tearing out of the product that you've got them in, especially if you're using MDF and not maybe a plyboard. So that's what I got. Now, this is the bit for me that needed changing, because when I did this, I made 2 even sides, and when it comes down, it's not the end of the world. It's not a deal breaker, but I would have liked to have actually thought about it and realized that the hinges would be such that there will be needed a little bit more on the end here, so when it folded over, it folded equal. But that's not the big problem. The big problem for me is this. Now, I spent out on some of these friction hinges. Now, I felt that if I bought cheap, they would be rubbish, and so I spent, I don't know, about £15 or so on this too. Now, I've seen some out there for a lot more money, and I'm wondering if I spent my money wisely, because these do not do a good job. These are as tightened up as they can go, and they will not put up with too much before they start to sag. And there is a bit of wobble. You can see that wobble in the top there, and that shouldn't be the case either. There's play in the spindle. So I'm guessing that £15 still doesn't buy you enough. And just before, a word of warning, I just bought a few pairs cheaply from that well-known company in China that sells a lot of cheap stuff to everybody, and I bought some myself. And those ones I think were not that expensive either, but they are complete rubbish, so save your money on those. So I think I'm going to have to invest some more money and buy some more expensive of these, or indeed find another one and put that in there and create 3. It's not really what I wanted to do. And trying this out with this, now it works fine, but I could have made this just a little deeper to take that sketchbook totally, and that will be a little easier. So I may make it a little wider, and I will make a different arrangement of these 10mm magnets. They do a good job, and I just feel that these were made with the idea of putting this on top, and if I put this on top, that would go like that in a heartbeat, so way too heavy. So that arrangement will change. And the nice thing is that if you're using 3mm board, you cut your first board out of whatever on your engraver, if that's what you use, as I've done. And the second piece, I've actually cut 10mm, 10.1mm holes to allow me to certainly easily recess the magnets without the idea of having to drill holes, getting them wrong, not out of line. This is all done in a program, so I know each and every one of these is absolutely spot on, in line, and will receive the magnet, because I've bought 10mm by 3mm magnets, and they sit in that recess beautifully with a nice piece of glue in there, and they're never going to come out. So that's fine. This will always be a spare one for me. I've got to research to get some better ones of these friction stay hinges, but essentially it's proof of concept, and Mr. Gurney's idea is a sound one. One of the biggest things that made me go for it, because I've got tons of little easels, tons of pochades. I've bought Open Box M, I bought this, I bought that, all different American companies. I have so many different pochade boxes for going doing plein air and sketching, and I've made plenty of my own as well. But the nice idea about this one, I think, is the fact that his design puts all the pressure on there. So when you're sketching away on here, then this on the tripod is taking the pressure, and this part normally when you put on a pochade, it's, I can get this right, it's there, and so it sits on, and so you push back on here and it slowly, you flatten it out that way. So I think this is great, because if you can find 2 of these that will do the job, unlike these 2, then I think you've got a winner. And yes, so I'm gonna have to do a bit more research, and I'm gonna make a second one of these in due course. You can see how friction less stay this is. That doesn't work out very well, but who knows. the next one might be better. I hope so. There we are. So enough of that. Let's get some paint out and let's see what we're going to be doing next. Okay, for me this was a bit of a tough one because I had a few too many colours and I had to decide which ones were going to get left out because I only had so many of these little trays to use. But we got there in the end. I'm simply working through the colours that I've got. I'm pouring some into the little trays and then I'm working them to the edge with a little cocktail stick so that all the corners are sort of utilized. And I think the idea from my point of view of that is that it allows the ability for the pan to hold on to the gouache when it starts to dry a little better. If you've got so many gaps around the edge, then you do have the problem where it could fragment, crack and fall out. I dare say that this will happen in due course anyway. Just like going into a sweet shop, isn't it, with all these wonderful colours. Now I use Naples yellow and white in the bigger ones because I do tend to use those colours a little bit more sometimes, so I wanted a little bit more supply when I was out in the field, so that's why they're in the bigger pans. Okay, ready? There you go. One Art Toolkit folio palette complete. I had a lot of fun playing around with this, and I know I didn't quite get all of my colours in there, but there's only a couple missing. It's not the end of the world, and I could still, with those spare palettes that I've got, all those spare paint holders, I could actually add more in if I wanted to. But I'm really happy with what I've got here, and I just can't wait to use them. Although I do have to be patient and wait until they've settled down, dried out a little bit before I start playing around them, or I will have an almighty mess. And I have also tested, although this I believe is aluminium, it does sit on magnets quite nicely on a flat base. So if you've got a flat panel with magnets on it, this will sit there. It will not move because of the magnetic pad in the actual item itself. So that's all a win-win for me. And I'm hoping, and I can't wait, as I said just now, I'm hoping that it does everything that everybody keeps saying it does. Now, I researched this a lot before Christmas, and so many people have got so many lovely things to say about this piece of product. It's not cheap, but it is well put together. It's well thought out, and I think that if you are doing a lot of plein air, even with a small sketchbook on your lap almost, this will work so well for you and not take up much more than a, well, you can see how thin, I'm not going to turn it upside down. There, right? No, I'm not going to. It's only 7mm deep, so it's not very deep at all. I think there are several phone cases out there that are thicker, so it's not an awful lot to carry around with you. But yeah, I really do want to do this, but I've got to be patient and let this dry up before I start using it. But I will come back in another video very, very shortly and hope either do a little swatch or certainly maybe a little painting using this in my sketchbook to show you and share with you. So I look forward to that, and hopefully you'll join me for that down the road away. Now, that all said and done, if you have enjoyed this but you want to get a little bit more from me as a teacher, then I've got two schools to offer you. One is absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything at all. You just go over to, well, hit the link underneath this and other recent videos, and you'll see a link to my free school. Go over there, join it, and involve yourself with the great community that's building there, and also all the content that I'm putting on there. And you'll be amazed at what's there. You'll enjoy yourself and you'll learn so much more. And also, if you wanted to get involved with my wildlife art school, now wildlife is a bit of a sort of pigeonholing it. It's also landscape as well in multi different media. I'm an oil painter, I'm a gouache painter, I'm a watercolorist, acrylic painter. I've done it all and I love it all. So I create wildlife and landscapes and things appertaining to those in most media over the course of time. Now that's $15 a month and you get so much more for it. You're getting an increasing, as I'm adding them, full-length tutorials in different media, and you are also getting a weekly live stream. Now that live stream alone is over 8 hours of content from me a month for just $15 without anything else being added in, and you've got another great community too. So if you want to get involved with that and you want to learn a lot more from me and have more direct access to me, then get involved with either the free or the paid school, and I'd love to welcome you as one of my latest members to the school. Now on top of that, don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to it if you would like to, if you feel that I've earned your subscription. And yeah, get involved with that, subscribe to it, add comments, ask questions, share it with your friends. That really does help. Above all, give it a like. And if you really want to help me support this channel, because all the content that you see here is absolutely free, I spend all my time to make it for you. But if you want to help me out with that, then by all means, please feel free to buy me a coffee. Again, the link is underneath this video and other videos, but you'll be very welcome to buy me a coffee, and I would thank you in advance for that. And all the money that comes in that way always goes back in to doing more free video content for you guys to enjoy. So with all that said and done, enjoy yourselves, get creating, let's have some fun, and maybe if you join the schools, we can have some fun together. Catch you all soon. Catch you in the next video. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Right, I'm just going to cover this up, I think, to let that dry with no dust on. Keep the dust off of it. So that can settle down now, and hopefully in the morning, we'll have a go. Catch you all soon. Bye.